Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to give you a quick rundown of the Divo Knives Buzz pre-order. So, we have our next pre-order coming on Saturday, October 15th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So, if you are in the market for one of these Divo Knives Buzzes, then be there at 1 p.m. on October 15th to pick one up. We are super excited to get this project in the works. We do need your support to make this happen, and we truly, truly appreciate it. You guys came through on the Stout, and we've been working on a lot of other projects as well to keep things flowing. We've taken profits from the Stout and put it into the Growler production run, which will be dropping hopefully next month. That's our sort of budget offering. It'll be available at White Mountain Knives. And we've prototyped some other things, including the Buzz. And then any remaining profits we have from the Stout went towards prototyping new things. It went towards doing shows and stuff. We did Blade Atlanta and Blade West. And then it went into the Growler production run. And then anything remaining from the sales profits will go into this project as well, so we can hopefully get some extras in as well. We have not taken any money out ourselves. The only money that Colin and I have taken from Divo is when we go to a show. If we sell a few knives and get cash, we will split that up. That is the only time that we have taken any money out of the business. Not that that matters. Anybody who has a brand like this that does take money, that's obviously what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make money and make it worth your time. We put a lot of time and effort into this. But we both are still working full-time jobs. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to transition, but our thinking is we can try to build this a little bit quicker by just putting all the funds, dumping it right back into Divo. So that's kind of the idea there. Anyway, to get into the Buzz, this is going to be a 7 point. Let's just grab a ruler. I believe it's 7.65 overall in terms of inches. We can do the handle here. We are at 4 1/4 overall on the handle. And then on the blade, we are at 3.3 is what I have. So you add that up, you get what? 7.75, 7.7, something like that. So 3.3 on the blade. That's kind of where we like to be at. Whoops, sorry. That's where we like to be at in terms of size, because it's just a great EDC size. We both prefer something at this size. Colin honestly prefers a smaller knife. Depending on the design, I prefer smaller as well. Neither of us are really into the big, 3.5 plus range. 3.5 is kind of my tops. So that's why you see a lot of 3.3 from us. Right here, we're at 0.51 at the widest point. This is a contoured handle, so you will see a variance as you go, up and down. You can see 0.49 there. It is extremely comfortable in the hand. I will say, compared to our first model, the Stout, where I believe the ergonomics on this knife are fantastic. They feel really good in the hand, but they are flat slabs, and it's a more just sort of straight handle design, where on this guy here, you have a little bit more of a curve to it along the spine, and you have this contouring on the scales, and just a little bit more ergonomics, and it really melts into my hand. I really, really love this model. Colin was the one who initially designed the Buzz. I initially designed the Stout, and you can see he has a little bit more experience. You can see that refinement in it versus this, which makes perfect sense. And this is my favorite model to date that we've done. I love them all, but this one just really speaks to me. But yeah, he did a great job on the design, and we went ahead afterwards and added this buzz cut front flipper, which is awesome. Really enjoy that. It kind of gives you this Zippo style flip. You don't want to hit it from the front like this, like a traditional front flipper. I mean, if you try hard enough, if you have tough thumbs, you can do it. But I really don't recommend it. I recommend coming from the top like a Zippo and popping it up like that. Or you can take your index finger and do what we like to call the reach around. You also have this beautiful hole for deployment right here. The shape is perfect, in my opinion, to catch your finger and let you rip it out. You can also thumb flick this guy out. So you have options there. And it's just very satisfying, in my opinion, to flick this knife or get the front flipper out and pop it up like that. We are working with titanium scales, a wire clip that is deep carry, and then we have a 20 CV blade. We also have titanium hardware. You have no branding on this knife except for that pivot. We, again, are working with Best Tech in this case. We are working with them, and we'll get unbranded pivots along with an extra hardware kit that includes the insert, I believe an extra wire clip, all of the hardware, which will all be T8 and all be titanium. You will get washers and bearings as well, and again, the insert and stop pin. The stop pin is internal, and it is mounted press fit into the blade, but you never know, if you ever need it, you'll have an extra one to work with there. Trying to think what else I can go over. The versions we're doing are, there's 4 versions. There's going to be a all stonewashed version. There's going to be an all blackwashed version. Then there's going to be a reverse tux, which is a bead blast handle, black hardware, and a black washed blade. And then there's this, which we call the tux version, or the James Bond, which is a belt satin blade and a black washed handle with satin hardware. And they will all have this fantastic hollow grind. The plunge grind here will be updated, so this was supposed to be outside the handle. If you've seen any of the black washed prototypes, they have the correct grind on there. And that does affect the action a little bit on these prototypes, so there's just a little bit more friction because there's some rubbing there. That will not obviously be there in production. That's why we do prototypes, but if you see me kind of fail it or something, it's just because there's a little bit of friction from that being in the handle, but that will be out of the handle, and it looks fantastic that way. The hollow grind is absolutely wonderful. Again, the production versions will have the grind like this prototype. The black washed prototypes do not have as deep of a hollow grind. Changes as well. So the 2 things I just mentioned, we are adding Vox Style Jimping right here. So full credit goes to Voxnez for that awesome design. See how he adds the jimping right along here. So when you're in an actual using grip, when you're actually using the knife, you tend to put your fingers around here and here, not back here where a lot of people put the jimping. So I call it Vox Style Jimping. You can call it whatever you want, but it will be right along here. So you will have good purchase on the blade right here. And if you go into this kind of cutting, which I do a lot, you'll have that grip there as well. We are adding lock bar access. So there is enough room, honestly, for me to get in there and get it. I have no issues. I did have a lefty ask me about it. Some lefties use their index finger. Honestly, this works better left-handed with that index finger than I expected. It just works, so there's no issue. But we are adding more, so it's only going to get better. We're just cutting this back a little bit here so that there's a little more room to get in there. But honestly, it works fine already. We are changing everything to T8. So initially, this was supposed to be T10 on the pivot, and this is obviously supposed to be T8 on the clip screw. They ran out of screws for prototypes, so they did a T8 on the pivot and a T6 on the clip screw. We're going to keep it as a T8 on the pivot because it's a happy accident that happened on the Stout in production, and people just really like using one tool, and I totally agree. And then this was just because they ran out of screws. This is going to be T8 and was supposed to be T8. Another change is we are updating the spacing on the wire clip to match, so it works for Lynch and RGT clips, just like on the Stout. We just had them match the RR standard spacing, which is another knife from Knife Standards. Check that out. And his works with the wire clip, and we know that Best Tech is making it, so it just made it easy to tell them to match that one. We are going to try to add, or we are adding a little more internal milling, just to get a little bit of weight reduction. This thing is around 4.2 ounces currently. Honestly, I don't even notice it being 4.2. That sounds like it's heavier than other knives because, you know, like the Stout, people always say, oh, I thought it would be heavier. It's only 3.8 ounces. This is like 4.2, and it's going to come down to around 4 ounces. I mean, unless you're very, like, sensitive to weight, this feels fantastic. I've carried one of these for like a month, and I've never felt like it was there. So I don't think it's a concern, but we are bringing that weight down a little bit. We are adding a lanyard pin back here. So you lanyard folks will have a spot to put your lanyard. We are also adding a Zircuti backspacer option on pre-order. So if you want to pick up one of those, you can add it along with your knife. We're going to have it on the same listing as the knife, so you can pick up, add to cart your knife, and then add to cart the Zircuti clip, or backspacer, sorry, and then go check out. You don't have to go to a different listing or anything. You can just do both right there. Those will be $60. The Mokutai backspacers for the Stout, we sold for $35. And that's just based on our cost, and then we added a little bit of margin for us to make a few dollars off of it. We really just want you guys to be able to customize your knives when it comes to scales, backspacers, stuff like that. We're not trying to get rich off of that stuff, but the cost for the backspacer in Zircuti from Best Tech is just a lot more than it was from QSP. That's all I can tell you. So we have to charge more. It's not because we want to make all this extra money. It's literally we're adding like $10. You know, we got to make something. So anyway, the backspacers in Zircuti will be $60 if you want to pick one of those up. And the knives themselves will be $2.99 across the board. So originally we had the 3 other versions that weren't this one with satin at $2.99, and we had this one at $3.19. And that is because this one actually costs us more. Again, it costs us more, so we have to charge a little bit more, but we decided to just make it simple. We're just going to go $2.99 across the board. We'll just eat that little bit of difference. You know, we're still obviously making money on it, but it's, you know, we're making less on this version. But it just seemed to make sense, and I think $2.99 just sounds better than $3.20. To be honest. So to help our cause and hopefully get more folks to want to pick one up, we went ahead and lowered the price to $2.99. That's the thinking there. It will fit skiff bearings. I actually have them in here now. 5mm 1/16 skiff bearings, single row. Very, very standard size. We try to do that so that it makes it easy when you want to swap them out. What else? Oh, another change. We are seating these a little bit lower so that the screws sit into the handle a little bit further. We don't like that they stick out. I'm not sure they're going to be exactly flush, but they're going to be a lot closer, which is good. Any other changes? I'm just trying to think. Detent-wise, we are trying to get the detent dialed in. So basically we want them a little bit stronger than the satin prototypes feel, and we want it a little bit lighter than the blackwash ones feel. So if you've seen any reviews out there, they could be affected by the strength of the detent. Some of the blackwash ones are a little bit strong, so people can't do the reach around. I can, but others can't. So just depends on, you know, your hands and everything. But we're going to get that dialed in. My plan is to just send Best Tech back a prototype. So I'm going to get one dialed in the way I want it, adjust it, whatever. I'm going to send that to Best Tech and say, hey, please match this so that we can get all the deployment methods dialed in. But that shouldn't be a problem. Best Tech does a great job. We just give them the feedback, and they can take that and implement it. But I just want to put that out there. There might be other stuff, you know, that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but it's all going to hopefully make it a better knife in production. It will make it a better knife in production. And that's pretty much all the pre-order information. We do have a certain number of these that will be available for pre-order. So if you want to pick one up, you know, I recommend you go pick one up on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you have any questions, if you have any issues with, you know, while you're on the website, or if you want any more details, please just hit me up at Divo Knives on Instagram and at LeftyEDC on Instagram. And you can always hit me up, leave a comment right here. Anything you want to do, I will happily get back to you. We really appreciate the support, guys. It means the world to us. We're trying to build this brand one knife at a time. And this is the second pre-order that we've done. The first one was the Stout, and I think that went really well. So hopefully we have a little bit of a track record there, and you guys have confidence in us. I'm always here to help with anything that I can. These will come in the Divo Knives box and the fancy leather pouch. We are working with Best Tech to match that stuff. We're paying a little extra to get it matching, but we really like that pouch and that box, so I think that's what we're going to do. And you'll get the extra hardware. We'll, of course, do our best to throw in some goodies like we did last time. So you'll have pretty much the same presentation, which I think makes it consistent, and I think it's a nice presentation. Gives you some useful stuff, right? And, you know, a sticker and some other stuff to have with it as well. We want to thank you guys so much for all the support on Divo Knives, and specifically right now on the Buzz. The retail price will be higher on these. So just like the Stout, we'll probably add 20 or 30 bucks on retail once they come in. And you also get the extra swag and stuff for pre-ordering, and you get it early, obviously. And that's just us thanking you for coming through and helping us get this into production. It's not possible without people pre-ordering it. I want to make that clear. We do need people to pre-order this to make the order happen. We are not unaware of that, and we truly appreciate that support. So anyway, love you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Can't wait for Saturday, and I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. I will catch you later.